Hey pros, this is McCoy Buck, creator of Anime Studio Pros, and I got another Let's Draw. In this Let's Draw, we're going to be doing Rigby from Regular Show. Alright, so let's go ahead and make a vector layer. We're going to start with the head. This video will be sped up just a little bit, as you can see. And all I'm going to do is just lay out some basic lines that I need in order to start creating my character. This one, surprisingly, usually the characters that you've never drawn before, especially when you're doing it freehand, you're not tracing or anything, it takes a little bit of a while to actually get the character down. As you can see here, I have a really bad looking head shape here, but by the end of the tutorial, or by the end of this Let's Draw, it all comes together and you can see the shape of what this character is supposed to be looking like. So right now all I'm doing, I'm just going through and I'm just shaping the head. I'm trying to match his hairstyle. The image that I have is an image of him. If you're a fan of the Regular Show, or if you watch it or have seen it or anything, it's of him ham-boning. So it's a classic Rigby move. So right now I'm going to select my color from the image that I have on my other screen, and I'm going to bring in that color into the picture. Once I grab that color, I kind of noticed that it wasn't the right color. I will change it just a little bit later. But right now all I'm doing is just fixing the hairstyle. I'm trying to get the proportions right as the image shows. I probably could have grabbed a bigger image. I keep on forgetting to make big images prior to starting, but it works how it works. So all I'm doing right there is I'm making sure that the eyes have a little bit dark of a stroke. I think the animal that Rigby is a raccoon, as near as I can tell. But all I'm going to do is just draw out strokes with the width of 8 for the eyes. I believe, if I can remember, the face itself had a width of, there it says there, 4. So all I'm doing now is just drawing out the eyes and the head. I'm going in with a different stroke color because that black was too black. And I just wanted to find a similar color that might help complement his other body color, basically. So what I'm doing here is just doing a little bit more tweaking with the hair, making sure that the hair matches up with the image. You don't really have to be perfect about this, but when it comes to drawing other people's work, I have to be a perfectionist on it. If it's your own style, your own thing, I mean, you can pretty much do whatever you want. But with that Pikachu drawing, I actually, after I recorded it and I looked over it, there was actually a couple things that I could have worked better on that I didn't notice at the time. But that was kind of the hard part of drawing and talking at the same time. This is a pre-recorded of me just drawing out the whole thing and just doing a time lapse of the whole thing. But this is just showing you the process that it takes in order to draw. So all you have to do is just keep at it, keep making fine tune. I could see in the hair, his hair still looks really bad. I know I'll have to go back and fix that. This part was a little tricky. I have the nose, and the nose and the image actually looks kind of squarish. It's oval shaped, but kind of almost has like a squared shape to it as well. So I couldn't really get the nose to match the image there. Here I'm just adding the ear. So basically, as you can see, I am in the head layer, and I'm adding all of these layers inside of the head. The only thing that's not inside of the head is the eyes. And then I have my color palette, which is just a separate layer as well. But it is best to do your images, obviously, separate. So right now I'm putting everything to a mask. If you don't know how to do a mask, I will link you to a other tutorial channel that Jeremy Alexander and I created. And there is a quick tip on there on nothing but masks. So if you are still confused about masks, look in the description right now, click on that link, and you'll figure out your answer, because we did what we could to explain what a mask was. Okay, so now with that mask, I am just applying his highlight layer. Something that after you do something for such a long time and you forget, something that I didn't do right here is I'm just putting in all this stuff without excluding the strokes, which I later find out that I could do, and I totally forgot that I could do. But right now I'm just wasting a bunch of time just trying to trying to make that stroke work when you can actually go into the, takes a while for me to find it, but when I can actually go into the head and exclude the strokes. Because something that I find here is, as you can see on my layer, I have my mouth that I'm trying to create, and it's below the highlight layer. So I quickly realized my mistake, and I moved the mouth on top of the highlight layer. So, as I said, this is Rigby's ham boning face. Okay, and this is a hilarious character. I love this show. The guy that creates this is basically my hero. Jeremy Alexander from the group, lucky kid. He actually was able to meet the creator of this show in person. Oh, that's pretty cool. And so right here, as I'm moving everything, I realize, oh my gosh, what is that one thing that I could do? Oh yeah, there it is. I can go and exclude the strokes. So what I did, it's a little bit fast, but I explained this in my other, in my masking tutorial, like I said. This isn't supposed to be a tutorial or anything. This is just a time lapse to show you the process of what it takes to draw out your character. But I basically went to the head layer. So you're going to go into your head layer, the one that you want the strokes to show through on. And I went to the head layer and I went to the masking settings. And at the very bottom where you set your masks and everything, you go and you check exclude strokes, and then you apply it to that layer. Okay, so as you can see here, he's kind of got a goofy mouth shape, but that's his ham boning mouth, and I work with it an awful lot to try to get it to match like it should. I'm trying not to talk through this whole thing, so it's not just me talking. But so I'm just making some fine-tuning things here and there. And I'm going to the hair. So this part was a little bit tricky because Rigby, he has hair, and I first thought, okay, well maybe I can grab this color and I can draw out his hair using the freehand tool. Well, unlike some users, I actually use, I draw this whole stuff out with a mouse, okay? I don't know how many people do that, but I actually go through and I draw everything out with a mouse. And I actually have never trained myself on how to do it with a sketch pad or a tablet. So I actually have a tablet. I do my freehand drawing with a tablet, but I don't ever use Anime Studio with a tablet. I just find it cumbersome. I don't think it helps me at all, but that's just me. I know Victor Paredes, he uses the tablet. A couple other artists and users of Anime Studio also use a tablet. So it's totally up to you how you want to go about doing it. Okay, so we can kind of see the character coming together. There's still things that are really off that I later fix in the next couple minutes here. But all I'm doing is I just took one of the strokes for the hair, and for a couple of them I'll fix the sizes and everything, but basically just with the line tool I just went and I drew out the hair itself rather than going in with the freehand brush or the freehand tool and trying to do that, because it didn't give me the result that I wanted. Okay, so now I'm here just adjusting the nose, adjusting the highlight layers. Okay, so as you can see, there's quite a bit of a process. This video is sped up at probably about 300%, but the whole process to draw this head took me about half an hour. Okay, so now I went through and I selected all of those colors, and I am changing the colors of the strokes there for his fur, because that didn't match up. Just going over his ear, fixing that as well. But yeah, the process is actually quite large, especially when it comes to drawing something you've never even drawn before. I've never drawn the Rigby character before, and the reason why I suggested Rigby and Pikachu is, I mean, they seem simple, but once you actually get down to it and you're trying to do it just as the artist had it originally, it's actually quite a difficult process. So like I said, on that head layer, I have the head shape, the whole entire head, and then I drew the nose, and I also drew the ears. If you also need help with layer ordering, definitely check out that same tutorial channel that I'm going to link to there in the description, because I I go over layer ordering as well of how to do it properly, because when I first started out with the Anime Studio, that was something I struggled with a ton, was how to do layer ordering using Anime Studio, or just a bunch of stuff in general. Starting out, I really struggled with. So there I made the strokes a little bit too thin. After I render it and I look at it there, I noticed that I should actually fix those strokes. So I just bring back with the width tool, bring back those strokes. Okay, and the neck, that really gave me some problems for some reason. I think it's just where one of the points were placed, but I could not get that part, no matter how many points I added, I could not get that little neck shape right there to go back how it should. But in the end, I will keep adding to this. This is just the head. The head is truly the hardest part. Okay, and once you get past the head, because the head is basically what's going to define the character, what's going to make the character look like who it's supposed to be. Once you get past that, drawing the body and everything else is a breeze. Drawing extra detail, that's nothing. But just trying to define who that character is from the head, it's probably the hardest part. And that's why I do it first, because obviously it's hard to draw a body without a head, but it's hard to know what's going on. So I'm almost about finished up here with this drawing, and that's basically what the end result is going to look like. That's his ham boning face that he makes. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Be sure to like and subscribe, and also be sure to join the Facebook group if you are not already a member of the group. The group I'll also leave in the description. We hope to see you there. We have a ton of awesome users of Anime Studio and animators. So hope to see you there, and thanks for watching.